Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you an updated version on how I feel in my brows, because recently one of my videos on my channel hit 1 million views. It is the ANASTASIA Beverly Hills Dip Brow, how I feel in my brows using the Dip Brow product. So that recently hit 1 million views. I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that any of my videos would hit that mark. But that one did. So I decided to do a more updated video on how I feel in my brows, because I did that video 5 years ago and people are still watching it, and obviously my makeup techniques have changed so much since then. You can see that my brows are a lot softer. They're not as defined as before. So I thought I would go ahead and share with you what I do now and some of my techniques. And I hope that you find it helpful. So if you want to see how I achieve my brows now and present day, this right here, then just keep watching. So these are my brows without any product in them. They're not completely hopeless, but they could definitely be better. I did overpluck when I was younger, so that's why they don't really grow in very nicely. I have a lot of sparse areas, and you can see that this eyebrow is definitely way more round than this one. This one has a higher arch. So when I fill in my brows, I try to make them look as symmetrical as possible. And what I've been using is this Brow Stylist Definer by L'Oreal. And I like the shade Dark Brunette. Dark Brunette is really good. So it has just the pencil on one end and then the spoolie on the other end, which is really good. And this is all I like to use. It's pretty simple, it's easy. So what I do is I brush all the hairs up, and if you need to trim them, you can trim them. Mine look okay for right now. I don't trim over here, I just trim in this area. And then I'm just going to start at the base and then draw up. I just draw in the direction of the hair growth. And that's how I start to fill in the brow. And I don't really care to be super neat, because I always clean it up with concealer anyway. Right now I'm just trying to get the shape of the brow. Kind of get the shape that I want. And you can see it's already starting to look a lot better. Nowadays, I like a bushier looking brow, not so defined. I like to see the hair. If that makes any sense. I draw in lightly because I like to see my natural hair come through. So you just want to go back and forth, filling in your brow like this, and then using the spoolie to brush it through and blending it in so you don't see any harsh lines. Makes it look more like a shadow. And then when I get to the very front of my brow right here, I like to extend it just a little bit. So my brow hairs stop about right here. And then I like to extend it just a smidge. Just because I like a longer brow, longer this way. And then over here, I even bring it down just a little bit as well, because I like the brow to frame my entire eye. The only part of my brow that I like somewhat defined, where I will make kind of a harsh line, is right here on the arch, because I don't have as much hair in that area, so I need to make it dark so that it matches the rest of my brow. So in this area, I'll actually go across instead of flicking it up, and then just gently blending it through. So you can see that so far I've just been working at the very bottom of my brow, flicking it up, going across here. I haven't really put anything on the top of the brow. And you can leave it like this if you want. It's going to give you that really natural bushy look. But I like to just fill in this area just slightly right here in the very front. So I'm just going to do that very lightly. And there you go, you could already see the difference. So I just used one product. I only used the brow stylist so far, and you can see what a difference it makes. This is a lot nicer, obviously has a nice shape. And then after this, I'll put in a brow gel. So the two brow gels that I like to use are the ANASTASIA Beverly Hills one. So I switch off of from that one to this one here. This is also by L'Oreal. It's the Brow Stylist Plumper. And you can see that it's really loved because I used it a lot. It's coming off. I like to use this one just day-to-day basis because it's not as stiff as the Anastasia one. If I'm going out, I'll use that one because that will like glue your hairs into place. They will not move. This one, it kind of thickens the brow as well. It's a brow plumper as well as a brow gel. So that's why I like it for day-to-day use. So I'm just gonna brush the brows up and kind of to the side. And then with the clean spoolie, I'm just going to fix the hairs on the top. So just like that. And then with a concealer brush, right now it just has leftover concealer on here. You can go in and just clean up any areas that maybe you kind of went out of line or overdrew. So here is the before and after. You can see the big difference between my brows. It still looks natural, not super defined. You can still see my hairs. It's really easy to achieve. It's a lot quicker than my other video. And it looks a lot more natural. I really enjoy this look. I just think it looks more like model-esque, if that makes sense. You know, like the models in the magazines, they normally tend to have this type of brow on. So I really like the finished look. You can see with no product and then with product. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup so you guys can see what the brow looks like with the full face of makeup on. And here are my brows with the full face of makeup so you can see the full effect. And yeah, my brows have come a long way since my video 5 years ago. They're definitely a lot softer, they're not as harsh, and they're longer. I extended them both ways. I extended them this way as well as that way, and I just like the overall look of my brows now than I did before. Like I said, that was 5 years ago. This is the look, the trend, or however you want to say it. This is how we do it now. And so I wanted to give you guys an updated version on how I do my brows. It's a lot easier and it doesn't take me as long as it used to. So I think overall it's just an awesome technique, and it's a lot better than before because I can just put my brows on and then get out the door. So I hope that you guys found this video helpful. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. As always, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. And I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in my next video.